Miss Habiba Kahinde. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks. Really nice to see you guys again.
So without much ado, I want to welcome Camilla Nontra.
Yay!
Oh my goodness! I should come to you every day when I need.
Correct. This is Sudan.
Wow.
Sudan. Believe it or not, Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt.
Interesting.
Begin to think in a Pan-African way, because they now see that their conditions are not just about that local space, but the condition is linked to all of the other.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. At least good morning from the West Coast. We are the latest here. Want to start by thanking God for at least host can also say good morning from where he is. So it's a whole different world out there. But then want to thank you for joining us this morning. Want to start by thanking God for this morning. By Him we live, we move, and have our being. My name is Fred Nontra. I'm co-host for Pan Africana Show, and as usual, we have another great show ahead for you. Thank you for spending your morning with us, your afternoon, your evening with us. It's a pleasure to have you, and you're in for a treat. How you doing, Jesse, this morning?
I'm doing well, man. See, it's afternoon for us, so good afternoon to everybody on the East Coast. As usual, every week we tell you guys we have a great show for you. We're bridging this gap across the diaspora and connecting us all, but this is no exception. We've got a wonderful brother here today, and he is reaching out to us all the way from the Philippines. So I know it's almost like midnight over there. So we appreciate him being here. His brother's name, Drey Ncube. I don't want to mess it up. Drey Ncube. We've been practicing before the show, and I think I'm still messing it up, but I want to make sure that we get this brother's name out here because he's somebody that you all need to know. Before we even get into the questions, man, first thing, to have the first name Desire has always been the coolest thing in the world to me. Like, does that work on the ladies? You just pull up, she be like, what's your name? Desire.
Well, there's a lot on this name actually. So my parents had like a lot of girls in the family as children. So firstborn is a guy, and then you have like 7 girls. Then me and my little sister, so a total of 9. Okay. So, with one guy, there's like 6 girls at that particular time. They desired a baby boy, and then there was me. So they named me Desire for that reason.
That is awesome. Okay.
That's pretty cool. Well, I just have to say this. He's all the way from the great nation of South Africa, where we have one of the better soccer teams on the football teams, or the soccer if you come from the US, called Bafana, which has a cool name. Yeah, I usually go with Black Stars of Ghana, but that's the only name that's cooler than Black Stars.
But there is also Springbok. So those two are doing quite well.
Yeah, Springbok. That's the rugby team.
Yeah,
they actually won the World Cup before Rugby World Cup.
We're the champs.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. We appreciate you taking time out to join us. And before we get started, I want you to have an opportunity to tell our audience a little bit about who you are. We talked already a little bit about where you're from, but you can expand on where you're from and where you are currently.
Okay, so I was born in a small mining town, Wange in Zimbabwe. Then at some point, as I grew, I moved to South Africa. Then from South Africa, I came all the way to Philippines for education. So I'm currently a pre-clerk, though in just one semester remaining to be a clerkship proper. So yeah, I'm in 3rd year medicine now.
Okay, medicine man. Good,
wow.
good.
Wow.
All right. Well, so the first question I have off rip, whenever I hear somebody's in the Philippines, I want to know, what is the reception to Blackness in the Philippines? Are we out there? Do people know about us? Do people run up to you and want an autograph because they think you Michael Jordan or LeBron? Like what?
You going? So when I came here first, it was like, kind of a culture shock because I've never been to Asia before and I've never been exposed to so many Asian people. But to my surprise, Filipinos are very hospitable people. And, their culture, I think it's the most open and welcoming culture in the whole of Asia. So if I'm going to say anything about Filipinos, trust me, it's all going to be good. When they see Black people, all that reminds them of is like these basketball players. And, they anticipate or think that everyone's a basketball player. So when they see you, they want to, they'll be showing you those BB kind of stuff, and you'll be like, and they'll be calling your names like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Oh, rest in peace, brother.
Right.
And all the kind of names. Hey, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, go ahead.
So you're actually born in Zimbabwe. It was actually almost like my second home. I spent a few years there because my
wow.
Uncle of mine, relative of mine, lives down there. I went to visit Brayside in the house.
Oh, Brayside! Oh, it's Harare.
Yeah, Harare.
I hope we have someone from Brayside. Hey.
Okay, cool. I see. So, and then you were born there and then relocated to South Africa, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How old were you when you relocated to South Africa?
Sometime in 2014, 15, somewhere there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the time actually when I was working on leaving Africa to come and pursue my, my dreams here.
What attracted you to the Philippines?
Actually, when I looked at options to study medicine, definitely not in my country. I was looking at somewhere outside of Africa. So I felt like it would give me the opportunity to meet new people, interact, and create connections. So I searched for something that's firstly education in English, and of course is on the cost. So I looked at some couple of options here in Asia and Europe, definitely North America.
I don't even know how I can blame you on that. Times are hard.
We all know.
yeah.
So Philippines just happened to just fit in the picture perfectly.
And you picked up that it was English education system. Have you picked up any Tagalog since you've been there?
Tagalog.
Hey,
right?
You know what happened? I did my pre-med, that's Bachelor of Science, in the mainland Luzon. So I learned a little bit of Tagalog, then moved to Cebu, where I currently am. Now, this part of Philippines, they speak a different language, which is Bisaya or Cebuano. So trying to learn both languages, I twisted things and got confused. Right now, I just know greetings only, and that's embarrassing.
Awesome.
Wow. So tell us about the story. What made you get into medicine?
So growing up, there was nothing else that fascinated me more than learning biology. I would look at some things as small as little creatures and study them, knowing about the physiology of how the like human body and animals work. So I considered being a wildlife and marine biologist at some point. Then I'm like, I don't think dealing with animals is going to be a great idea. So that narrowed down my choice to human beings. And also the greatest motivation that I had was when my father passed on, he succumbed to meningitis. So it was something that really pushed me to be like a doctor and, bring up a change to the patients that I'm going to be taking care of soon.
It's an awesome story, man. So this is a perfect time to be interested in medicine. We have a global pandemic that is taking people out by, I guess at this point, by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So I'm curious from your perspective as somebody who sees how this is developing. How do you think the world is handling it in its treatment of COVID-19 and in the kind of a vaccination rollout?
Now, the way Corona came to be or came about, it was more of a shock. I would say the shocking effects or the fear of this virus were the ones that made us feel like we kind of lost the battle with Corona. So there is still a chance to fight this thing, and unfortunately, so many people are in panic, and as long as people are in panic, they make irrational decisions and they can't think straight. So people live in fear and they are isolating themselves. Like, it's locked down almost everywhere. So it's either you die from Corona or you die from starvation, because most people are not even working at all. So it's a difficult situation to face. But definitely, with the vaccines that are currently being worked on, though there's a lot of skepticism about it. So it's a bit of a difficult thing to tackle. Yes, people need some kind of medication or some kind of solution to the pandemic, but on the same note, it's a difficult situation, because now trusting the virus for so many people is a bit of a big thing for them, because with the current vaccine, how the vaccines were developed and how fast this thing was developed. Well, it's a good thing, because it was developed like in a quicker time, because we needed a fast response to this thing. But on the same note, you question the effects of the vaccine itself. Yes, Corona kills, it's real, but then there is no medication that is like 100% straight. So when it comes to vaccine, in my opinion, yeah, it could work, but we do not know like the long-lasting effects of the vaccine itself. And currently, I've seen a lot of footage where there has been serious side effects with it, where certain people would get dizzy and pass out just like that within minutes from getting the vaccine. So you never know. And the other thing is, we all have different responses to the vaccine, because our immunity differs. So some people are going to survive, some definitely it could be a sad thing. But all in all, we are still trying to battle this thing that is seeming to be a hard thing to crack.
Yeah. So what? Well, having said all that, so what's your vision, medical? What do you plan to specialize on after you're done in medicine?
Okay, I was looking into orthopedics and gastroenterology. So it will be internal medicine first, then further specialize into the fellow in gastroenterology or orthopedics. These two, they just cool. If I could put a third option, it would be surgery, general surgery.
Wow.
Cutting and opening and doing technical things with my hands. I feel like, yeah, blessed hands.
Gifted hands.
Yes. And those guys,
hands, actually, yeah, that movie inspires me so much.
and those gastric bypass surgeries, boy, that's bank right there. Do well.
At the end of the day, we have to feed our families and strive to make a living. So, well, the money factor comes in here and there, but the love of it outgrows everything.
That is awesome. Well, we oftentimes on this show, we talk about the depictions that we see in media of Black people in different respective countries from our perspective, right? So I'm wondering, since you've had some time to be in Zimbabwe, South Africa, and the Philippines, how do you feel like Black people in the media or on TV are depicted in those respective areas?
to be honest with you, I feel like black people are suppressed because majority of the stuff that you get out there is just ridiculous. There is so much great things black people are doing out there, but you don't get any of that. For example, there was this particular time when we were doing pediatrics. So the topic actually was poverty and to do with some nutrition. Then, on the slides, the pictures that were put in, it's some kids in Africa starving, black people, right? To me, it's like, okay, there are lots of people starving, even in this country and everywhere else. Why would you go all the way to Africa to get such things to portray to the world when there's a lot of great things to talk about black people? It's something that saddens me. I don't know whether we are too powerful, the reason behind the suppression or anything, I don't know, but it's too much. It gets to me. Absolutely. It gets to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's because we are, what did Mandela say? We are powerful beyond our, yeah, Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest Africans that to ever live. But yes, I do agree with you that depictions are everywhere. It's almost like sad kids. And usually in some of these NGOs who go and take pictures of, they find a way to take pictures and they take advantage of the situation. And shame on some of them, they actually benefit off of it financially, which is a big shame. But I want to go back to Zimbabwe. So can you tell our audience about some of the cool places to go to in Zimbabwe, like the safari parks, the Great Zimbabwe, and all the other cool stuff?
Speaking of Zimbabwe, I would speak of the smoke that thunders, Victoria Falls. That's the best part of Zimbabwe. I actually stay about 100 kilometers away from Victoria Falls, and I love that place. It's always a new feeling when you get to that place. So Victoria Falls is the place to be. Everyone else, make sure if you go to Zimbabwe, look into Victoria Falls. But well, it's not the only thing. You could connect Victoria Falls with the Hwange National Park. Of course, Hwange, my hometown, where I was born. So I think it's one, not really the biggest, maybe second biggest national park. So you'll be blessed with some beautiful animals. Well, I love the quotes that animals are beautiful people. So you will go there, see some beautiful people in the national park. So there is also Great Zimbabwe, one of our, our heritage. That place reminds you of where we come from as Zimbabweans. It's a rich place full of history, and you'll definitely enjoy there. Victoria Falls, Great Zimbabwe. There is also Matopo Hills. It's a beautiful place. What else? Yeah, there are some small places that you could visit. Of course, Harare, the capital city, has some kind of cool places to be. So yeah, I guess those. There's also Inyanga and our Kariba. Yeah, our Kariba Dam is one of the beautiful sceneries that you can also have a good time there.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about Zimbabwe, we get into this conversation every week about, what is your best culinary dish from your country? What would you say out of all the delicious things that there are on the menu? What is the one thing that if you ever get an opportunity to have it, you will take advantage?
Zimbabweans love or eat like one main thing. Almost everyone. That's sadza and either beef or chicken stew. Those. Nothing beats that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm telling you, that one is the best meal. When you eat that, you actually get stronger than you ever knew or you ever be. Sadza is powerful.
All right, well, I want to write this out. So how do I spell it? I want to get a picture of it so I can start imagining what it tastes like.
Sadza is SADZA DZA. Sadza.
Okay.
Said with a za.
Okay.
Yeah, I love me some sadza. Yeah. Starts out with some is it Morewa leaves? Morewa leaves?
Chomolia.
With the leaves, Morewa leaves or something like that.
Muriwo. I think you're trying to say Muriwo. Yeah, that's the vegetable that I was talking about, the green one. Yeah. Yeah, it's Muriwo in Shona and Umpita in Ndebele.
Oh, okay.
Umpita.
So do you speak Shona in Ndebele?
Yeah, I speak actually both of those languages. My mom is Zambian, by the way, so I speak Nyanja, the Zambian one.
Wow.
Ndebele, and some other minor languages like Dombe, Tonga, Nyanja, and
Well, you have a mini AU in your household.
Absolutely.
You know how it is. It is what it is.
So let me ask you this: after you finish your studies, where do you see yourself going, or do you have you thought already about like where you feel like you're going to meet the need at?
Definitely with you guys. I'll be with you guys. Trust me on this. Give me a couple of years. I'll be with you. I'll definitely be with you.
Come on through. If we still have a country, we'll find out at the end of this week.
That's true.
Whoa, we still have it. Who else can take that country from us, from you?
You'd be surprised, man. These people with guns in Washington, D.C. You'd be surprised. Nah, man, we're a very interesting place, man. This is I love it because I think here you get tons of opportunity, and I think it's a pretty cool place if you can avoid like the racism. It's a pretty cool place. People, for the most part, are pretty nice. Not everybody, but for the most part, pretty nice. And there's the opportunity oftentimes here leads to a kind of financial freedom that I feel like is really set on whatever level you want to set it at. So especially if you're doing medicine, like you're gonna be all right, right? So it's really good here, but we are fighting this challenge that I feel like is coming to a head just because of everything represented by the end of Trumpism, right? So I think Trump has kind of sent this imagery out into the world of who we are that is not necessarily consistent with what America is. And some people love it. Some people have felt emboldened to try to reestablish things the way they were maybe 200 years ago. And then other people are fighting against that. And it looks like this presidential change is going to have a lot of reverberations in what America is and what our position should be. I personally feel like I have a love-hate relationship with this country, if you can tell. And so one of the things that interests me in this show is, Black people specifically in America, we oftentimes are looking for where is our like rescue place? Where do we go? Because we can be here, we can function, we can even thrive, but there's also this feeling of not being accepted to a certain degree or being thought less than. So the thought process for most people is, well, I want to go where other Black people are. But, sometimes there are other considerations to make within that as well, because we also bring American attitudes sometimes with new places. And that can be a good or a bad thing. But we will welcome you, man. Come on through. Let us know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As long as you guys are there, so I feel like I'm going to be the only Black there. So the thing to do is, as Black people, let's unite, take up space. Let's be involved in politics. Let's be involved in the police. Let's be involved in the healthcare, economy, everywhere. Just be everywhere. I mean, ads, let's create the image that we want to see. Because if we're not going to do that, nobody going to stand for us. Nobody going to stand with us. So we just have to do this and, take up our space.
Absolutely.
All
well,
right,
we'll see. The rest of us are looking at going home. So we've already.
Where is home? The question is, where is home?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. Fred tells me it's Ghana, so I think I'm gonna go visit and see how I feel.
Yeah, Ghana is definitely home.
Home is where you belong. So if you feel like you've got some sense of belonging there, oh well, that's your home.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So we talked a little bit. You talked about your interest in gastroenterology, right? And I've talked to Nadine about this when she was on the show as well. I always Nadine, yes. I always am excited by seeing Black people who want to do medicine because this was my dream. Like I wanted to do it until I got to college and chemistry did not want me to do it. So
you have to tell us about that.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, I Fred knows the story, but I got this real cool job for a guy working at Duke who was a professor in biochemistry. And he took this job because he was trying to find inner city kids that were making mistakes with their life and try to put them on the right path. And I just happened to be one of them. So I started doing it. And this guy, what he did that changed my life was he started paying us. And it was sums of money that my mom didn't make, right? Like sums of money that nobody had ever seen before. So I'm sitting there like, all I do for work is this. My first job was in landscaping. I was working like 8 hours a day, cutting grass and shrubs. And then I go to doing this and I make 4 times what I was making landscaping. So I was like, yes, this is it. I'm doing whatever this is.
Like I said.
The problem is he was trying to expose me to like readership and books, and I started developing an interest in all these things. So it was a 2-year program. We ended up going over to after my 2 years was up, he sent me to work for the dean of the School of Medicine at Yale, who had a whole laboratory in Maine. And so I went to Maine for a summer, worked on hepatocytes, like liver cells and skates. Had a great time, and he paid me even more than the Duke guy paid me, right? So I said, this is the way to go. Like I'm able to take care of my mom, I'm able to pay bills, like the whole 9. And so I said, I'm going to do this, and I get to college, and when I get to college, I took the class you're supposed to take: biology, chemistry, calculus, all that stuff. I got the chemistry. Chemistry was at 6:00 in the morning. I don't know if y'all know how freshman year works.
That's too early. Whoa, 6 a.m.
He wants you to be
when the brain is too
smart.
fresh.
Be early and be smart. And I probably was just getting in from the party at like 5:30. So that didn't work out. And then when we got to the actual testing, everything I thought I knew and everything I thought I read seemed to morph into other stuff. Where they get you with the conversions, like how do you make the formula for combustion and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. So so I didn't do well at all in any of that stuff. And I had to report to all the people who had paid all this money and were doing really well by me to be like, look, I tried, it didn't work out. And I was shamed. I thought it was going to be one of those things where they were going to say, oh, how dare you? But it turned out that they were just happy to see me in school, right? So it's like, hey, you're not in jail, you're not doing anything crazy, you trying, like we'll deal with that, right? So I end up becoming a lawyer. because
wow, it's also a great profession, trust me.
Yeah. So it worked out, but I still sometimes wish I could have gone back, man, because that science it's one of those things where like if you like it, just like you say, you're passionate about it. When you're passionate about it, there's so much to read, there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, and you always had that dream that you're going to be able to fix something that is harming your people. So if you can fix, things like diabetes, high blood pressure, whatever, if you develop the pill or the shot that's going to do that, then you just feel like you contributed something so much greater than money to society. But unfortunately, you got to earn it.
True that.
So we have a question from one of, I think, probably our best viewer, our best supporter, Michael from Nigeria, Bayelsa State. He says, good evening from here, guys. Please, what's the nutritional value of Sadza?
To be honest with you, I don't even know the nutritional value of sadza. It's something that I grew eating. That's my best meal. That's all I know. So if I look at myself, I see sadza all over me. So we'll definitely look into it and get back to you. Who's this? Michael Oinkuro.
So he's I think Michael, for me, who has had the privilege of eating across nations and different diets, I've had eba before. So Mike, I think the closest thing to sadza will be eba, and because it's also starchy, or if you've had banku from Ghana, it's really close to that. So that's where sadza could be compared to, and a little bit of pounded yam. So yeah, so that's the kind of consistency it has. And then he says, have you tried Jojo? Yes, Michael, I couldn't find Dojo I had to go find him on Periscope. So the next thing I might have to look on Twitter. So it might be hard I have to locate that brother to come and bless us with his knowledge. Hi, Nadine.
I feel like every country in Africa has something more or less related to sadza. We have sadza, and Nigerians have, I don't know what you call it, but they make it from yam. I think it's the closest thing to sadza.
On the yam.
Something like that.
Or fufu, or then there's also
fufu. That's the name that I was looking for.
And then there's also what do you call eba? It's just made out of gari. West Africans knows what eba is. It comes out of gari, which is cooked and turned to like sadza. So yeah, those are the three things that are close to sadza.
I've had gari before. Trust me, it will take you all the way to Nigeria. I don't know where it's from. Nigeria, Ghana, I don't know, but I've had it with Nigerians. So
yeah. Well, Nadine says hi. Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Nadine.
Nadine, hi. How are you?
And then Monique Felix. I don't know. Hey. Hi, Monique.
Monique, hi. How are you? Good to see you.
All right. So I want to switch gears. I want to talk about someone who I tend to agree on some things, but he's a little controversial from South Africa, and his name is Malema. What do you think about Malema?
In my opinion, Malema, when you look at him and listen to most of the things that you would see on social media, especially those things that are trend so much, you would think he's just some, crazy guy. He's just, saying whatever comes to his mind. But that guy has some great DNA of Africanism, and he advocates for that one. That's the beautiful part of him. I love that, because most of these people, most of the people in SA, like politicians, they can't stand out and speak out for black people, but Malema will stand against anyone and everything that goes against blacks. So for that, he has my support.
Yes.
He's a great guy for me.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I see Malema, because he's the one who spoke against, he speaks against the xenophobia that was happening. He spoke against how, and then he used that when we had the Black Lives Matter. He talked about the fact that, we shouldn't hurt ourselves and kill ourselves. If we say Black Lives Matter, we should support each other and be one, which I definitely agree with. And yeah, he is revolutionary. So a lot of people disagree with him, but so what? His voice too should be out there. His voice is needed, and it helps with the Pan-Africanism and uniting of Black people. Jesse?
Absolutely. Well, I was just going to ask, as far as the summer that we've just had, did you see anything in the Philippines that was kind of reactionary to this kind of Black Lives Matter movement that seems to have spanned the globe?
Come again?
So over the summer, when all this unrest was going on, and it looks like Black Lives Matter as an organization really expanded to be international, I was wondering if in the Philippines there was any kind of response to Black Lives Matter, or if you saw, Black people coming out wherever they are in the Philippines to support the international movement as well?
So mostly the biggest part of the response came from Black people in the Philippines, and the Filipinos being a compassionate people, they definitely would support us as Black people, because what was happening was, it was just, there is no word that I can define that thing, because it hurts so much. It was just something that's, you can't, I don't know, it pains me. I don't know what it is that we did, but the treatment that Black people are being given is just, that's crazy. I don't know. These people are just, I don't know. Why? You look for the answers. You question yourself, why do they do all the stuff that they did? Especially that guy they killed, Floyd.
Yeah.
Who does that? If it was a white guy, you wouldn't get any of that. They were gonna talk and get some arrest or whatever in a polite way, everything all good, handled. But because it was a black brother, they had put a knee on his neck, and the guy is even choking, and he tells the police guy, I can't breathe. But those guys still in their numbers suppress him, and oh man, that was just too much. How could you kill a person and get away with it and feel like you did a good thing, all because it's black melanin, huh? By the way, the same DNA makeup and the same everything from bones to tissues, and we are just the same. It's just the difference of melanin with the white folks. So we are one people. If a white person would need, say for example, a blood transfusion, and I'm compatible, I can donate, because we are one people. Why even fighting?
That's deep.
Wow.
No, Philippines took it well. They supported us, and they encouraged a great deal. So we felt like we are not alone in this. Yes, I don't know whether to say, okay, they are Asians, brown people, I don't know, brown, white, I don't know, somewhere there, but yeah, those people stood with us, and my biggest appreciation to them.
That's
Well, we also thank them on our behalf. Yeah.
Yes.
And, yeah, we do love them over here too. Like you said, they're one people. They like to, just like us African, like to eat from the same bowl and the rice and everything, and in the leaves, yeah, which is pretty cool when I saw it with fish and everything, which is it helps with the bringing together the community feeling. That's a lot of times you don't see much of that in the Western world.
Whoa,
but
sad.
Michael says, I think it's carbohydrates. He's commenting on Sadza. I have seen the picture on Google. It belongs to the class of Eba, fufu, and pounded yam. Only that Sadza has its source in sorghum, corn, etc. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. It's made from maize, but we do get a different kind from like sorghum and the rest of the grains, but mainly it's maize. So it's basically grinded maize, thick porridge when it's cooked.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna Google it, because I want to put a picture up on the Instagram page, and then you, if it's wrong, if I got the wrong picture, let me know. Just shoot me a message. That's not it.
I want to give you a challenge. I want to see you, actually a picture of you on Instagram eating sadza.
If I can find the ingredients, I think I will try it.
But Jesse, I think your brother in Durham. You said you have a brother in Durham from Zimbabwe, right?
Yes, they actually have a Zimbabwean restaurant, but they make it's something called piri chicken. It's I mean, the restaurant's banging. Shout out to Leo and Swelly's. The restaurant's banging. They have piri chicken is the dish that I always get, and it's like a really good seasoned rotisserie chicken. They give it to you with I don't know how to pronounce the sides, but they're good. It's like a spicy peanut butter based green. I don't know if it's like
peanut butter rice thing.
It's like it's a peanut butter base that they use to make the greens with, but they sprinkle like seasonings and stuff in it, and it's like kind of spicy, right? And then there's beans, and then there's rice. So the beans also are a little spicy. It's a spicy dish. If your tongue isn't built like that, you might want to try something else. But for me, it's the kick I need at lunchtime to be able to deal with my afternoon. So I love it. But yes, it's Zweli. So I'm excited about the possibility that this might be on their menu. Because if I try to cook it, I can guarantee it's not going to work out.
Yeah, we don't want anything to be burned out. We don't want just to get in trouble with Mrs. Hamilton.
Yes.
But there is something. Have you ever tried the rice with peanut butter?
No.
Oh, I want to see you, both of you, in Zimbabwe. You should visit Zimbabwe.
I've been to Zimbabwe in the past.
So you haven't tried that one, or if you haven't tried that one, then another challenge: to go back and eat it.
I've eaten satsa. We also have our own rice and peanut soup, but it's called umutu, or rice balls with peanut soup. Rice balls and peanut soup. That's one. You can Google that. Yeah. So
I'm definitely going to go do that.
And that's a good one to eat too, with some chicken peanut soup. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting our travel list together because when the outside opens back up, I got my passport dusted off. I'm ready to go. Only place I want to go is Africa, and I'm trying to pick out all the countries. And see, you helping me right now because I had my top 3. I thought it was solid last week. It was Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya. After last week, Kenya might have moved up to the number 2, but now you're throwing Zimbabwe in here. I wasn't even prepared for that. So I might just put it up as a poll once outside opens up. Put it up as a poll for people on Instagram to let them tell me. But Ghana's gonna be number 1. I have to go to Ghana. There's just it's so. But everything else, man, we looking to see what's gonna happen. And I'm curious because I've heard a lot about Victoria Falls. So I am, you are like probably the 20th person who has told me how great Victoria Falls is. So that moves you up on the list. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. There's actually one magical thing about Victoria Falls that you might not realize, but if you are very, noticing person, right? When you get into the rainforest, right? You have the smoke that thunders, and definitely the rainforest is gonna make you like your clothes are gonna be like soaked wet. But the moment you leave that place, you won't notice it, but you're definitely gonna be dry.
Wow!
Before you actually get to town.
Interesting.
There's something magical about that water, so definitely go there.
It's on my travel list. I went to Zimbabwe, but I never visited Victoria Falls. Yeah. So Nadine says Jamaica too.
oh, sure. Jamaica, that ain't no problem.
Nadine,
We'll be there.
I guess.
That's not far at all. I could be there.
And then that's I have the recipe on my blog. So that's a recipe for peanut butter soup. So.
Oh yeah, the one that you just posted right now.
Yeah.
Peanut butter soup. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
Nadine, I think among the 3 of us.
Was that?
I'm saying, Nadine, among the 3 of us, I should be the first person to go to Jamaica. Okay, so see you there. I have to be the first. None of you should go ahead of me. When you go to Zimbabwe, I'm going to Jamaica.
Hey man, they have great specials to get to Jamaica from here is nothing. It's like an hour-and-a-half flight. It is nothing.
Oh yeah, from there on. Yeah, that's true. It's really close.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. So I just want to say, man, first off, again, thank you so much for being on the show, man. This is great. You're giving us some good information. Everybody who, let me apologize too. I had put South African flags and Filipino flags all over the announcement for you, not knowing that there was a connection to Zimbabwe. So my bad. I need to go back and add those Zimbabwean flags. And I guess and Zambia too. You're right. I need to go back and add those flags to the announcement so that it can be representative of everything that you are bringing to the table, man. But yeah, so we talked a little bit about medicine. We talked about portrayals of Black people in media and other places. I'm curious as to, you talked earlier about, how the NGOs that come in take advantage of people in economically depressed areas as if economically depressed areas don't exist in those other parts. What is, we want to give you an opportunity to say some of the things that you don't see on TV. So what are some of the highlights of either Zimbabwe or South Africa that you would want the world to know about that may not necessarily be getting depicted in our media?
So the only thing that you see about most countries in Africa is either it's the poverty or some kind of unrest, something that's all negative, but there is a lot of great things about Africa. Some people, you'll be shocked. Some people actually believe that, we live in some bush with lions and baboons and all of that. We do have great houses that, whose architect you never see anywhere but Africa. So there is a lot to speak of Africa, and we are civilizing. Yes, we are not like most countries in Africa are not like, okay, they are third world countries, but then there is some kind of misconception about South Africa. So these people, allow me to put it in quotes, these people, you will know. So they don't want to recognize South Africa as a first world country, but definitely it's not a third world country. There is no second world country. So what is it? Where is it? Where would you put it? You see, such things just show you that these people just control everything. And because we don't speak up and don't showcase ourselves, we will never get that opportunity to be seen out there. Mm-hmm. That's the sad part of it. But there's a lot. If you see the most beautiful parts of Africa, trust me, I don't know, I'll just mention 5 countries randomly. South Africa, of course, Ghana, and I'll take Rwanda because Rwanda, that country is upcoming and doing very well. The giant of Africa, of course, Nigeria.
We got Michael.
The last one.
Kenya, Tanzania.
Yeah, Kenya or Tanzania. Those ones. You look at the city. It's so modern and way better than most European countries. Or some parts of US. But what you see is just, the crappy part of it. So we need people in media and
that's right.
Try and capture and decode that thing, send it out to the world so that people know and see where and how we live. Because if we don't do this, the song of, those guys will still keep on playing. There's this quote that I love that says, if there is no journalist of the lion, the story will always belong to the hunter.
That's deep.
So if the lion is no journalist to tell what happened in the scene, no one is gonna stand in for it and tell its side of the story. It will always be the hunter story. I shot and killed it. That's it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the other thing that I also think Western media does wrong is there is a push to conflate Africa, or at least marginalize Africa, into one thing, right? So everyone that we have on the show who has been from continental Africa is from a different country. We're not talking states, we're not talking cities, we're talking different countries, right? So Africa isn't just one thing. So people can't say, part of this depiction that the NGOs do when they show the kids with, poverty going on, they'll say, look, this is what Africa is like. And nobody thinks to say, well, let's do additional research. Let's see some pictures. you know, until Fred showed me the slideshow, I think in like episode 4, I didn't know there were pyramids in Sudan. Like, so just different things that you aren't exposed to over here. And I think there's a dual reason for that. I think part of it is the denigration of Africa, but I think another part of it is the denigration of the fruit of Africa, which will be Black people here. They don't want you thinking that you can go to another place and feel accepted or see a part of your story that didn't start with slavery, right?
That's right.
So I think it's part of keeping you kind of mentally imprisoned into doing what they want you to do, being the employee they want you to be, or catering to whatever the commercialism that they want you to cater to. And what you hear and oftentimes see, if you're connected with anybody who is a Black American who goes to an African country, oftentimes the first story they tell you when they get back is, I got off the plane and I was welcomed, right? And for a Black person in America, that means a lot. Like, people over here stabbing each other, right? So it's like to get off the plane and feel like, welcome, how you doing? You know, come get something to eat. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And then the conversations that people have, just even the basic things, like small things like how people are named, right? In America, there's not a lot of rhyme and reason to your name for a lot of it, right? But in Africa, it seems like there's a story with everybody's name. And then we feel weird when we explain how we got these European names, right? So we feel weird. We're like, well, what is your name? Well, you know, in America, there's a slave master that raked his way into the family, and we just kind of kept that name, and that's who we are. And they're like, you kept it, right? Like, that's, you know, because you just don't know anything. So I feel like the opportunity to meet people on the continent, to understand that the continent is not one thing, it's a lot of different groups, it's a lot of different regions, it's a lot of different weather systems. Like, it's just completely different, you know, even economies could be different. So just to see that there are so many beautiful differences. And also, I want everybody to know, if you don't take anything else away from this program, the kids that the NGO are showing you, those kids in America, like those kids in Detroit, right? Like those kids in Durham, right? They're not going that far and spending all that money. Like, we got tons of stuff going on right here that people don't want to address, but they want to make sure that you're paying your 50 cents a day to the white man that look like Santa Claus, right?
Exactly. And I like to echo that, and that's why, like you said, Desire, you said that's why we need some of us in media, and that's why we started the show, to bring a different narrative and to showcase the greatness that we come from, and showcase the things that the media doesn't show. And like Jesse said, the slides do. Probably we need to do another one of another slideshow to show the things that, you know, is not shown, you know, the images and all that. And yes, you're absolutely right. And we do need people in that space to tell a different story, our story, not when. And there's someone who defined it as Eurocentrism. When you say Eurocentric, it's someone else, the European, telling your story, but we have to tell our story, which is called African-centered story. So I totally agree with you, and thanks for joining us from the bottom of my heart, and coming to uplift everyone here.
Yeah, man.
You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. This is my home.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Tell us how people can reach out to you. You can type it in a private chat, and I'll share it in the comments. How people can reach out to you to know more about Zimbabwe, Zambia, and South Africa. We did not even talk about Zambia, the great Kenneth Kaunda's land.
Well, Zambia, it was doing well, but there is an ongoing issue with the Chinese. You know, the Chinese lend you a lot of money. You know what these countries are doing? They lend Africa a lot of money to buy something that is in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they sell it to us. So they're selling things that belongs to us with the money that they borrowed us to trap us into some kind of, you know, controlling scheme where, you know, they have the upper hand even in your own land. They will take control of your land, minerals and stuff like that. And they're basically, you know, controlling everyone. But there is a good initiative with the current president and that guy is doing well. Is one person that I'm behind wholeheartedly. He has a voice, a powerful voice to the people of Zambia, and he's great.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is something that comes up. I'm on a lot of different groups that are talking about kind of African issues, and that is something that comes up quite frequently, is how should people view Chinese, either depending on how you look at it, investment or infiltration into the African system?
I wouldn't call it an investment, honestly, because the deal those guys offer you, it's a total ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a total ripoff. The other problem with Africa is when these Chinese lenders, some money, all of the money is taken up by some, few rich politicians. They just spend the money among themselves, friends, probably family. They will invest in some countries and whatever. It's just not going to the state, not going to the country. It won't do anything to the country, yet the country is, going down in debt. You wonder what's wrong with our minds as Africans. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, if we are to change begins within us. And if we don't do anything about it, I don't know, we'll keep playing the songs of the whites.
Yeah.
Is there any push for like a unified, I don't know if all the presidents are on the same page with this, but is there any push for like a unified currency system? Because I would think, just given the continent and how much in resources that is already in the continent, a unified African system would basically put them on the same standing as everybody else. And it wouldn't be a matter of, I guess, it feels to me, and I'm an outsider, so I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. It feels to me that the Chinese are doing this, not just in Africa, they're doing this, they already own America. So that's what, but they're doing this. They're doing this to kind of pick on the places where the economy may not have had such longevity, right? So if they go in places that they can, at least initially make it seem to the eye that they're repairing, fixing, strengthening, and then come back with the bill, right? Come back with the bill and take it with interest so that it is now a Chinese thing. And I wonder, the pushback that the presidents on a unified front will have, as opposed to China being able to negotiate with one or another.
Well, on that part, I don't think, African presidents are coming together as one, because if they would unite, Africa would have a far greater voice. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have majority of the world's resources in Africa. That's a fact. And major economies are running on African resources. Mm-hmm. But then if we don't unite, these guys will keep on investing in a negative way in Africa so that they destabilize us in order to control us. When they divide us, we will be controlled. We will give them everything. All the minerals will be taken. The funny thing is, we sell, let's just say, example, a piece of metal. We sell a huge chunk of metal to those guys. We don't polish anything. We don't do anything with it. It will be cheap. Those guys take it. They turn it. For example, Sweden, they turn it into a Swiss knife. Mm-hmm. Look at the price tag of that knife. Yep. Take the metal, turn it into Rolex watches. They build cars and stuff like that. All those resources are coming from Africa, but you don't get any of that in Africa. Yes, we do get some kind of funds or whatever we call it from those guys, but what are we doing with it? Nothing. If we don't do anything with it, we won't go anywhere. Instead of buying the technology, probably that we don't have, if we cannot be innovative enough to, mm-hmm. Create our own technology in order, to better ourselves, then those guys will keep doing the same schemes that they're doing.
Yeah.
They are funding unrest.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to comment on that. Yeah, there was an effort, and I shared a video last year about an interview Wode Maya did with Dr. Lumumba, and he's a
With
great.
the Maya. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I'm a subscriber. Of Wode Maya. Wode Maya, wherever you are, brother. Hi from me.
Come on and join us.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on the show, man. I'll keep emailing.
Yeah, so Dr. Lumumba was talking about the fact that there's most of the presidents are more interested in their own parts, and there's been an effort to bring one currency, but then what happens is the powers from outside, the Chinese, the Europeans, and the Americans, trying to influence it, trying to break that cord so that it doesn't work out. Because once that works out, we have our own currency, things stay on the continent, the rest of the world will starve.
You know it.
It's definitely a thing that I hope we have more people like Kagame to come on the continent to bring that unity, and people who can address situations like what the French are doing to the French West Africa, which is that they still pay taxes, which is unfortunate. And one president stood up against it, the president from Ghana, and spoke against it, and he's now a target. So once you stand and speak against it, you become a target. But then I believe we should still keep fighting, and this generation, the younger generation, Michael and all of us, and it's our time. It's our turn to make the changes and do little changes here and there and bring ourselves together. And I believe we'll have a better Africa.
And I just want to add, I mean, I think, here in America, we have a role to play in that too, because when I was listening to Desire talk about like how everything is made, they take the platinum or whatever from Africa and make Rolexes. Who buying the Rolexes? I can tell you it's not Bill Gates, right? It's people like that, right? You buying the Rolex. So the whole thing about it is if they don't have a consumer base, which everybody in America knows that the Black consumer base is really what keeps operations running here. And I think part of that is why these systems are put in place to make Black people feel worthless, because if you get a Rolex now, all of a sudden you can feel like you're somebody better, right? But it's all a mind trick in order to keep this system going so that they can exploit one nation to come back and take advantage of the exploitation that they're doing to you. And the only commonality that they have across the board universally is that they're doing this to Black people, right? So people are profiting from Black people, either in the country where all the stuff is, or in the country where you have nothing, so they give you a Rolex, right? So you get a Rolex. It's all a mind game, and I think if we can all come together kind of as a council and kind of break down how the system is working, we might be able to expel some of the people who are continuing to do what really they've been doing since the 1700s, 1800s, not just with resources, but also with the people. That's how we got here, right? So I think, thank you for that. I think that is very important, and that's a piece of it that we on this side don't always get to see.
Okay, so Michael says the truth is that some African leaders are mortgaging the future of the continent to the Chinese. This has continued to weaken us economically. The irony is that we are looking for it right here with us, yet due to lack of foresight and leadership, we failed woefully to harness our natural resources to our advantage. Rather, we go out there cap in hand to beg. That's right, Michael. Thanks for your comment. And that's exactly... We share your sentiments, and that's exactly what we're doing, and that's exactly what we're doing here, starting the show. And yeah, so thanks again, Desire. We have to wound down here. So can you please share your social media handles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook?
Okay, definitely. Let me do that.
Put in the private chat, and then we'll share it on the comments. So if you haven't done so already while Desire types away, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, comment on our YouTube channel, and share. And that helps us. And thanks for watching it wherever you are in the world. Yes. Keep spreading the word and bringing us together. Jesse?
Absolutely. And if you are somebody who is interested in being a guest on our show, reach out to us. There are a variety of ways to do so. You can catch us on Instagram at the Pan Africana Show. You can catch us on Facebook, Pan Africana presented by Afroscope. But definitely reach out to us. Don't be afraid. We post a lot of content, so feel free to comment on the messages or comment on the posts or whatnot. We want to make sure that we are representative of the entire Black diaspora. So if you are Black, and I don't care if you're in Antarctica, if you are Black, you want to be heard, make sure you reach out to us, let us know. Also, I give this disclaimer every week, and I want to make sure I'm equal opportunity. We're going to post up Desire's social media handle, okay? Now, this is not the time for you to start sending him pictures of the gout on your foot and say, what should I do? This is not for that, right? This is for if you are interested in going to med school, or if you're trying to get some information about what it's like. This is for that, right? I don't know how he feels about the women that want to shoot shots. That might be a whole different story. So I won't give that disclaimer that I usually give. But I will say, please, please, please be responsible and respectful of his time and of the information that you are seeking from him. We always like to do that because we were on Periscope today, and you never know.
So that's his Facebook handle, Desire Drey Kellz Ncube.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. So to all the viewers out there, you can reach me out concerning school study, because we have an educational consultancy for schools here in the Philippines. So you can reach out if you want to, join us studying here in the Philippines. Everything is in English. No need to study some, first language or second or whatever third language that could be difficult for you to study a difficult language, and then your course of choice. So do reach out. And also, if you're into forex trading, we also have 2 schools for forex. You can reach out and let's make some money. The world is going into some elongating lockdown. You need to make some money out there. So do reach out. Let's download money. We're empowering you.
I like that. Let's download it and fix our So Desire, is it the same handle on Instagram, Desire Drey Kellz?
Yes, it's the same.
Okay, cool. All right, so I guess that would be it. Okay, before we go, what's the capital of Zambia? What's the capital?
I gotta go.
Lusaka.
I gotta go to Google. I'm a cheat.
It's actually for our audience. It wasn't for you. I was trying to give the prize out there, but yes, the capital of Zambia is Lusaka. So, and then the capital of Zimbabwe is Harare.
Harare, correct. How about the capital of South Africa? Let's hear from you.
Joburg.
Joburg. Actually, there are 2 capitals in South Africa. It's Cape Town and Pretoria.
Yes, Cape Town.
Yeah, Cape Town and Pretoria. Though Johannesburg is the biggest part of South Africa, and a lot of people are there, and I think it's the most common
financial capital.
Yeah, the hub of South Africa.
Yeah, the Cape Town is the capital.
I never hear about people going. I hear about Cape Town. I hear about Johannesburg. I never hear about Pretoria. Is it like a visitor thing? Do people go there? Like, I never hear about it. It's a capital.
Pretoria is I feel like the silent city, because Johannesburg outgrows it. They're actually adjacent cities. From Pretoria to Johannesburg, you don't take like maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes drive, you will be in another city. So Johannesburg is like, the umbrella of Pretoria. That's why you get less of it.
Gotcha.
Nice. All right. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment.
Thank you so much for having